Hi, I'm Granny, and we're going down the rabbit hole of Nikola Tesla, the young man, episode 1. Nikola shared many stories of his youth, including how his father, Milutin Tesla, read classics to them, including poems of epic deeds. Also taught them memorizing techniques that the clergy used for their sermons. In addition, Milutin felt it was important to teach his children different languages, and we know that Nikola knew at least 8 languages. One memory Nikola shared of his youth was how their horse saved Milutin from wolves while out serving a member of his congregation. It was this same horse that caused or was involved in Donne's death. Nicola's thoughts rarely strayed far from Donne, nightmares plaguing him for his entire life. In 1875, Nikola received a stipend that would help pay for an engineering degree at the Technical Institute at Graz, Austria. It was here he first saw the Gramme dynamo. Gramme is Gramme, which operated as a generator and when reversed became an electric motor. As the professor was showing the class the machine, Nikola stated that he could improve it. The professor's response was insulting, degrading, and it haunted Nikola for years. Nikola's obsessive study habits the first year at the Institute alarmed his teachers and other students. Sometimes he would study days without sleep. During this year, he not only completed all the necessary classes with excellent grades, but also read the complete works of Voltaire. Voltaire was a French Enlightenment writer, philosopher, satirist, and historian, famous for his wit, criticism of Christianity, and of slavery. Voltaire was an advocate of free speech, freedom of religion, separation of church and state. He was born in 1694 and died at 83 in 1778. He wrote more than 2,000 books, pamphlets, novels, plays, essays, histories, and scientific works. I can understand why Nikola was intrigued by him. During Nikola's second year at the Technical Institute, the political climate calmed between Austria and the Ottoman Empire, resulting in the stipend Nikola used to pay his tuition was canceled. His family was too poor to be able to help, so he began borrowing from friends, but couldn't raise up enough money to pay his tuition. It appears at this time he believed his math skills could help him with gambling. He was wrong. He had more success with pool and soon became what was known to be at the time, pool shark. As his studies began to suffer, his reputation for gambling spread throughout the community and school, resulting in him being kicked out of school. His family was horrified. His father refused to speak to him, and soon after, in 1875, his father died. Nikola was never able to make peace with him. In 1880, 2 uncles gave him enough money to move to Prague, where he spent 2 years sneaking into lectures, reading every book or periodical on engineering he could find in the famous library at the University of Prague, the same university his father graduated with honors. He worked at odd jobs, continued to gamble, scrounging for money, but never was able to raise enough to pay the tuition. This is when his mother, grieving the loss of her husband, found him and handed him all the cash she could afford, saying, quote, Here, go enjoy yourself. The sooner you waste what little we possess, the better it will be, and maybe you will finally get over it." He never got over the pain and disappointment he saw in his mother's eyes. He never gambled again and spent the next 2 years doing his best to get his life in order. He was never able to raise the tuition for the University of Prague or any other institute, and never got a degree. In 1881, Tesla heard that Thomas Edison had built a telephone exchange in Budapest, Hungary. Again, with the help of an uncle, he got a job as a maintenance clerk at the exchange there in Budapest. His co-workers soon marveled at his ability to make improvements and repairs quickly. During this time, Nikola suffered what can be described as a nervous breakdown. Some believe it was PTSD. He described how his sight and hearing became so acute, intensified, and extremely painful that the sound of a fly landing on his desk was a loud thump, or when a sunbeam swept across his face, his head sparked with painful flashes, and his eyes and brain hurt. His doctors recorded his heart rate at the time at 250 beats per minute, and were afraid Nikola would have a heart attack at any minute. Nikola's close friend, and I couldn't find a name or who this person was, stayed with him during this illness, talking and reading to him, and his friend believed that being more physically active would help him, and eventually convinced Nikola to go on short walks in the nearby park. One day, while walking in the park with his friend, Nikola had what some described as an epiphany. An image flashed in his brain. It was the image of the Graham induction motor, which years before his professor had insultingly said Tesla wasn't intelligent enough to improve. This insult had burdened Tesla, causing him to question his intelligence, his own mind, and capabilities. Tesla began sketching in the dirt for his friend to see a diagram of the Graham induction motor and how he could improve it. This was the inspiration for the Tesla polyphase system. And we will learn more about that later. Thanks for joining me, and join me again when we go down the rabbit hole of Tesla, and in the next episode, we'll continue his life as a young man. Thanks for spending this time with me. Join me again when Granny goes down the rabbit hole. Thank you.